All right, we are live. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Let's Get Real. It's a brand new week. It's beautiful here. I live in Louisville, Kentucky, which means it's Kentucky Derby week. So it's everybody's in a good mood. Even though I'm not going to the Derby this year, everybody's just in a good mood. It's the flowers are blooming, everything's green, our allergies are going crazy. Spring has arrived. So welcome to a brand new week. I am actually joining you live today from a conference room at one of my clients. I have an all-day brainstorming session with them. So I know there's no Wi-Fi issues today, so I'm very happy. And I'm really, really so excited to welcome today's guest. I met Sarah Clay on Twitter in one of our tweet chats and quickly learned that she is the expert in LinkedIn. And you know, I don't use that word lightly. I refuse to call myself any kind of expert or guru. I am a practitioner, but Sarah knows so much about LinkedIn and has taught me so much that I've used for both my own profile and my clients. So I am excited to welcome her. So let me tell you a little bit about her. Sarah is an award-winning social media trainer and strategist. She helps business owners leverage LinkedIn to accelerate their business growth. She is a LinkedIn trainer for B2C and B2B companies, as well as solopreneurs. Sarah offers a no-nonsense, accessible approach to her teaching while injecting some fun into learning. You're going to see that. Sarah's specialism is working with people to demystify LinkedIn. Learn to Love LinkedIn is Sarah's free Facebook group where Sarah records live videos at least once a week to complement her regular blogs and emails with valuable LinkedIn tips, tricks, and updates. She also runs LinkedIn for Entrepreneurs Club weekly in Clubhouse, helping entrepreneurs navigate their way around LinkedIn. Launching in May of 2021 is Sarah's membership group, Linking In Academy. Sarah's passion project is Linking Out Club, which is a free monthly meetup for entrepreneurs to learn from an incredible roster of speakers and also network with one another. She has 9 years of experience heading up marketing and PR departments, a diploma in social media management, and a certificate in presentation and workshop skills. So I am so happy to welcome you with your beautiful orange wall. Welcome, Sarah. I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, thank you, Shane. It's wonderful to be here. I'm so flattered you asked me to come on. It's great just having the opportunity to talk to you.
Thank you. I feel like I can now say I have an international show because we are talking across the pond. And I'm just so happy to have you here. And I told you in the pre-show, you have made a difference in my LinkedIn profile and what I do for me, but also what I'm able to do for clients, being able to measure LinkedIn and really be able to dig in and use it well rather than just use it. You've really taught me how to use it better. So I'm so glad that you're here.
Well, thank you. And that's so nice of you to say.
So let's
You're working hard at it too, Shane.
Well, we both have a good time working. I know that for sure. So tell me a little bit about how you got started in this. Why LinkedIn? Why was LinkedIn your platform of choice?
Well, initially, it wasn't.
Mm,
Initially, I was Twitter, I guess, and Instagram,
okay.
and a bit of Facebook as well. Actually, quite a lot of Facebook. And gradually over the years, I think Facebook and I didn't really get on so well. It just didn't really happen for me there, although I still use Facebook.
Uh-huh.
And I started to use LinkedIn. I thought, oh, I quite like this platform. And I hardly used it at all. I just posted a few things out and thought, oh, I'll have a little play around. And then all of a sudden, I got contacted by somebody and they employed me. And then it happened again. And I'm
Uh-huh.
thinking, hang on, I'm actually not really doing very much here, but I seem to be getting the clients. This is really interesting.
Right.
So I thought, well, what happens if I, explore this further? So that's what I did. I did some training. I, taught myself some really deep dives into LinkedIn, and
Okay.
gradually then began training people myself how to do
Okay.
LinkedIn. And that's all I do now. That's all I do is train people in LinkedIn. So
That's
yeah,
great. That's
I love
great.
it. Yeah.
So when you first start working with someone, what do you think are the biggest challenges or the biggest hurdles people have really starting to beef up their LinkedIn profile? Where is sort of that hesitation and how do you get them through that?
The first thing that I hear, the most common thing, and I was working with a lady this morning, they just don't understand it. And they
Uh-huh.
don't understand it and they're frightened. They're frightened
Okay.
of the platform. And I think especially women. And I've never been one of these people who I only want to work with women or I only want to work with men. You know, I like a sort of variation of people around me and clients. But there's this fear that LinkedIn is a very corporate place, a very stuffy, business-like place where we have to behave in a certain way and dress in a certain way. And there's a fear. And people are frightened. They don't know what to talk about on LinkedIn. They don't know who to talk to on LinkedIn. And that's why I say I demystify the mystery of LinkedIn, because I try to break it down and make it accessible for people.
Well, and I think one of the things I see this in your posting and your engagement is that it's not all so business professional. It's professional, but people do let themselves through. They let their real voice and they engage as a human. So they've kind of let down their guard a little bit. And I think that's probably true through the past year that people have let down that guard a little bit. And though they're still professional, a little bit of a business casual feel to LinkedIn is okay. Would you say that's true?
Absolutely, 100%. I think there is still a caution, and I actually quite like the fact that there's still a caution about posting your babies and your dogs and
Right.
stuff.
Right.
And I know people have started to do it, but what tends to happen is people are posting those kinds of pictures, but relating it back to their work.
Right.
So talking about their dog because they need time to clear their head because they've had a stressful week, rather than look at my cute dog. So there's usually a bit more depth than just
Right.
my dog looks nice kind of thing. But
Right.
yeah, definitely people are a bit more relaxed since over the last year, since the pandemic, for sure.
So when you're asked to give people some quick tips for LinkedIn, what would be three things that people could do right now, this morning, on Monday, to really get their LinkedIn profile moving?
Okay, so profile, yeah, great start. That's where to start. And when I train clients, they want to get going, they want to get started. How do I want to write something? I want to engage with people, I want to talk to people. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no. You've got to get your profile set up first. You've got to get your shop stored. You've got to get your stall ready before you can go out and start talking to people. So the profile is the place to start.
Right.
And there are I would say four main elements to your profile. There's your profile photo, which needs to be recent and clear, showing who you are, etc., etc. There's your banner or your background image, which is the only kind of visual sort of tool you have on LinkedIn. So it's important that you get that sorted. And then there's your headline and your about section. Get
Right.
those four sections buttoned down, sorted, on brand, etc., 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 and then think about the rest of it.
Okay. Okay. And when you start connecting with people on LinkedIn, what's sort of your thought process on that? Do you think you should just connect with anyone who reaches out to you, or do you think you need to be more strategic about that when you're getting your LinkedIn profile going? Or maybe even you've had a LinkedIn profile, but you're really investing some time in it now. Do you connect with everyone, or are you more specific and strategic about it?
Okay, so LinkedIn is networking. That's what it
Mhm.
is. So it's important that you're open to talk to different kinds of people, because even though somebody may not be your ideal client, they may be able to get you a referral.
Right.
So always bear that in mind. Having said that, there are an awful lot of accounts on LinkedIn that aren't complete, aren't fully optimized. Maybe they're not genuine. So always have a look. If somebody sends you a connection request, don't accept it straight off the bat. Go
Okay.
to their profile, have a look, think to yourself, is this person really on LinkedIn? Are they really interested in engaging with me? Is this person only engaging with me because they want to sell me something? You don't want that. And does this look in any way like a dodgy account or a fake account? And you can tell that, if the photo's not right or if just things aren't right. So check that they're posting on LinkedIn, check that they're active on LinkedIn, and check that their profile is kind of complete before you accept any connection requests.
Okay. That's good advice. So here's something that I kind of wrestle with hashtags. I use hashtags on Instagram, I use hashtags on Pinterest. I don't use hashtags on Facebook, but I do use hashtags on LinkedIn. Not as many as I do on Instagram, but there might be two or three that feel like topics people would follow. So if I'm, let's say, republishing a blog post on behalf of a client, I typically go and put some hashtags in there. Am I doing it right? Or is there a better way to do it?
No, you are doing it right.
Okay.
Well done. Well done, Jane. So interestingly enough, there's been some conflicting evidence on hashtags recently. And there's a guy called Richard van der Bloom who did some research probably about 8-9 months ago, I think. And he delved really, really deep and found that between 6 and 9 hashtags is the optimum for maximum engagement. However, a more recent look at LinkedIn's policies, LinkedIn say 3 is your max.
Okay.
And in fact, I'm going to go with what LinkedIn say, because if I start putting 7-8 hashtags on and LinkedIn algorithm thinks, whoa, hang on, lady, you're overdoing it here, then I don't want my account suspended or stopped. So I advise 3 hashtags, and always make sure that your hashtags are relevant to your post.
Right.
Not, so if you normally talk about engineering, but you're writing a post about flowers, for example, 2 very polar opposite things, don't put an engineering hashtag, even though you normally talk about engineering.
Right.
That particular post, use what's appropriate to that particular post in your hashtags.
Right. Just like you would with Google keywords. You want to make sure that they make sense and you're not trying to game the system.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great advice. Okay. So here we're going to talk about the biggest tool that you taught me about. I had no idea it existed, and it's free. So tell us all about the SSI. What is it? How do you use it? And how do you know how to read it and if you're doing well?
Right. Your SSI score. So your social selling index.
Yes.
So your social selling index is a tool which LinkedIn have created, and it's a tool to measure certain aspects of your LinkedIn profile and how well you're doing on LinkedIn. There's engagement. There's 4 different sections, and it gives you a score. Now, some people are a bit dismissive of the SSI score, and they go, no, it's just a way that LinkedIn kind of try to lure you into buying LinkedIn Premium or Sales Navigator, et cetera, et cetera. It probably was set up for that purpose, but I think it's a really good indicator of how well you're doing on your own profile. Right. So if you've got these 4 areas, and it's a really nice chart, it's a sort of visual chart, and if you've got one area that is obviously much weaker and getting a lower score than the other 3 areas, in your heart you've got to work on that particular sector, that particular area. Right. So if it's your profile build is low, then you need to go and have a look at your profile. So I think it's a really good measurement tool. So have a look at it, type in SSI score, it'll come up and you'll find it. But yeah, no, I like the measurement of the SSI score.
I found that it gave me good baseline, somewhere to start.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
And I think, if you're getting an SSI score over about 65%, you're fine, and yay, what's yours? What's yours of late?
I think I'm at about 73 as of right now. So I've really been working on it.
Good. Yeah. What you'll find is it's going to stick at 73 for a long time before you try to get it up, because it tends to get a bit stuck between 65 and around 80. Okay. But that's fine. If you go above 80, that means, the people that are on LinkedIn all day, every day, they'll be going above 80. But if you're on 73, you are rocking it, lady. Well done.
Thank you. So my goal is to get my clients up there too. And that's something we're working on, because it's just as important that my clients have a high SSI, at least so we can watch some trends. Watch their numbers go up. That's what's important. Not so much what the number is, but just that it's increased is what I'm looking for. Yeah. Good and attitude. I like my clients to be active on LinkedIn and to share good content. So one of the things that I have them do is, if we have a blog post that we've written for them or they've written for themselves, to repurpose that with some edits as a LinkedIn article. So now we've got a whole other piece of content. And then the next section of that, the next step would be to do a video talking about that same topic, so that now we've got one topic maybe for the week or the month, but we've got several pieces of content that we've repurposed and been able to use and efficiently made it easier for them. So that's the key.
Absolutely. And then you can break those down even further. You can break your long articles down even further into shorter posts.
Right. That's a great idea. I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
So I know LinkedIn is your platform of choice, but I know you've also been dabbling in Clubhouse a little bit as a teaching tool. Tell us what you like about Clubhouse and remind everyone where they can find you on Clubhouse.
Yeah, no, I do like Clubhouse. I like the fact that it's very easy. It's very it's accessible if unless you're on Android, of course, but it's very easy to jump in there to chat to people.
Mm-hmm.
And I've met some amazing people in Clubhouse. And I think because we don't have to look at each other, I think people are a little bit more relaxed, and people
Mm-hmm.
say things that they might not otherwise say, if they were faced with people face to face. And it's just so easy to get to. I was just walking up to meet a friend in the park, and I'm on Clubhouse listening away on my phone. It's very, very accessible. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I run a club, a regular club on a Wednesday, which runs at 5 p.m. summertime in Britain, which I believe is noon. Yeah,
Noon
noon
Eastern.
Eastern.
Yes. It's a mess,
And it's,
but we did it.
yeah, we do. So it's called LinkedIn for Entrepreneurs Club. And there are 5 of us, and we jump on every Wednesday at noon Eastern or 5 p.m. UK time at the moment. And we answer your questions about LinkedIn. It's great. It's a lovely room. Really nice people come in.
That's awesome. So people can find you on LinkedIn as Sarah Clay and in the Linking Out Club. And then they can also find you on Twitter at Curly Clay. That's how I found you,
Yes.
because we both
Curly
have
Clay.
curly hair, even though mine's not curly right now, but I do have curly hair too. So I really loved your Twitter handle, and that's how we met. So Sarah,
Nice.
I can't thank you enough for everything that you do for all of us who follow you on social and learn from you all the time. You really do demystify this, and you break it down and you make it easier so that we can all do better on LinkedIn. And I really appreciate being your colleague and knowing you. So thank you. And thank you for being here today.
Oh, Shane, thank you for having me. It's been absolutely wonderful. I'm so glad we met and we took the leap to actually get to know each other. And yeah, I'm so glad to
Me
be here.
too.
So thank you
Me
very much.
too. Well, have a wonderful rest of your week, Sarah. And I'm sure I'll be seeing you out there on social, definitely following what your lead and what you're doing on LinkedIn. And I will see you soon. So thanks.
See you soon, Shane. Thanks. Bye.
So everyone else, thank you so much for joining me today. I do have some news. Next week, we are moving time slots. I have a client that meets every week at 9:30, and this show has kind of impeded my ability to be present for that very important meeting. So next week, we are actually moving to 10:30, and my guest is going to be one of my oldest friends in the world. If you follow me on social, you probably know that I typically do go to the Kentucky Derby, though I'm not going this year. And I usually go with one of my childhood best friends who comes in every year from Des Moines, Iowa, with her husband. So she is going to be my guest next week. We will likely be wearing our Derby fascinators because that's what we do when we get together. And I promise it won't be a whole bunch of private jokes between us. I promise it'll be worth your while. Mara is a PR professional and has been for since we graduated college, so we'll have to do some math and tell you how many years that's been. But we're going to talk about how PR and social dovetail and how they really do work together. So I'm really, really excited for you to join me next week. But I hope you got a lot out of today, and I hope that you'll follow Sarah on LinkedIn and on Twitter. Find her on Clubhouse. She's fantastic, and look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.